the behemoth, the beasts of the field. Let us discover this biblical mystery and unveil what this is. Now, in my studies, I'm going to make some claims that are going to seem radical and completely left field, but with patience will come understanding, because all of these topics will intersect come further conclusion and analysis of this study. The problem is basically the image of the beast. The illiterate these days are not those that cannot read or write, but those that cannot learn. They're unable to absorb the comprehension because the meaning has been lost in the word. They cannot unlearn what they have been told. And that's the beauty of the Bible. It doesn't tell you what to think. It tells you how to think. And I'll give you a few examples. You show me in Ethiopia where their tower is, where the Tower of Babel is. You show me that. You show me one spear or chariot wheel in the Red Sea. You're never going to find it. You show me that we already have the historical evidence that Nebuchadnezzar did not destroy Tyre, and neither did Alexander, as confirmed by Jesus the Christ himself, who said, and I quote, "If I was there in Tyre and Sidon," etc., etc., etc. It was still an issue in the Gospels. So the only way this Nebuchadnezzar thing is correct is the way I biblically presented in my study, the Nebuchadnezzar. Although I do fumble a section of that study when I quote numbers, I specifically state that those are Nebuchadnezzar's forces. No, I meant to say that's how they are acquired. And similar to how he became a beast of the field, Moses went up into those giants and changed their names. And Nebuchadnezzar's eyes were open. That's why he didn't need a name change, because he's not a he, it's a what. Similar to this behemoth concept, okay? So let's get into this. And as I just said, if any detail seems left field at first, just bear witness. It'll come to conclusion. So let's get into this behemoth, the beast of the field. Let me find my glasses. My eyesight is failing me in my age. Titus 1:12, the Cretans are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies. And belly is the inward part of the man, the heart, okay? 1 Corinthians 2:14, but the natural man receiveth not the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness unto him, neither can they know them, because they are spiritually discerned. 2 Peter 2:12, but these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and they shall utterly perish in their own corruption. Psalms 94 or 49:20. Man that understand not is like the beasts that perish. Psalms 32:9. Be not as the horse or as the mule, which have no understanding, whose mouth must be held in a bit and a bridle. They must be mute. They are loud and noisy. They give the image the voice. Okay? And we're going to get into that a little bit too. At least they come near unto thee. Psalms 73:22. So foolish was I, and ignorant, I was a beast before thee. A beast is Hebrews 9:29, meaning to be mute. Okay, this is, we're going to get into this. And these following verses are actually for the image of God, the bride. Bit out of context right here. So let's continue. Beast, cattle, animal, beast, call of all animals, livestock, of domestic animals, wild beasts. The behemoth, it's a combination of two Semitic words, one being Hebrew, the behema, and the other one being of Akkadian origin, the Tiamat. This is the pronunciation of the term, the behemoth. And the plural is pronounced the behemoth, which is Strong's Hebrew 930. So this is basically how the strangers come upon thee, and the flood and the locust, and the Philistines, the wandering strangers. And we'll get into concepts like this as we continue. Job 40:15. Behold now behemoth, which I made with thee. He eat grass as an ox. And the grass is just simply a reference to provisions brought forth by these rivers and the cattle that bring their young to feed in their rivers and the birds that rest their nests in his bows, and etc., etc. Psalm 73:22. This is a repeat because the term beast there is behemoth. So foolish was I and ignorant, I was as a behemoth before thee. Isaiah 36. The burden of the behemoths of the south, in the land of troubles and anguish, from whence the young and the old lion and the viper and the fiery flying serpent, they will carry their riches upon the shoulders of young asses and their treasures upon the bunches of camels, to a people that shall not profit them. Watch my Leviathan video. I explain it there. We'll get into a bit on that too. Isaiah reflects this. This is why he was starving and everything. He liquidated all of his provisions. We'll get into it. This is the difference between parents Pytre and the patriarch. Also reflected in the Nebuchadnezzar, which is, watch that video too. It's Revelation. Beast is also, what else did I need to say about this verse real quick? We'll get more into it. Like I said, a lot of these concepts will seem together. Beast is also Hebrews 24:23, a beast, an animal, and that is from Strong's Hebrew 24:18. To live, to let live, and to keep alive. All for peace and security. From Strong's Hebrew 24:21, to live, have life, remain alive, sustain life, live on or upon prosperously, live forever, be quickened, be alive, be restored to life or health, to continue in life, to revive, from sickness, from discouragement, from faintness, from death, to preserve life, to restore, and to grow. And that is from Strong's Hebrew 23:31, to tell, declare, show, make knoweth, to breathe. This is in reference to an oath that you're taking with this grafting in that you're doing with either the father, the patriarch, or the surrogate father, the Nimrod, the mighty provider instead of the Lord. Like I said, we'll get into it. And that is from, to breathe is also extremely important. To tell, to declare, to show, make known, to breathe. And that is from Strong's Hebrew 23:24, to show, interpret, explain, inform, tell, and declare. Hebrews 24:16, living, alive, green of vegetation, flowing, fresh of water, lively, active of man, reviving of springtime or the day spring, relatives, substance, maintenance, living things, animal life, appetite, revival, renewal, community. Those are provisions of prosperity. Mighty provider instead of the Lord, or the Lord shall provide. The Greek for beast is 23:42, a wild animal, wild beast, a brutal, bestial man, savage, ferocious, a dangerous, venomous, wild beast. And that is from Greek's 23:39, a trap, a hunting of wild beasts to destroy them, of preparing destruction for men. Romans 11:9, and David said, let their tables be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and recompense unto them, which is the strongholds of comprehension and principalities on your forehead, the name on your forehead, so that you may buy or sell. Mark 1:13, and he was there in the wilderness 40 days tempted of Satan, and was with the wild beasts, and the angels ministered to him. So let's get into some of these things that you must unlearn, because I've heard a lot of radical things regarding Yahweh, how, he's this murdering, destructive God. Watch my video, Hova, and then you'll understand exactly why Jesus burns away the elements of the world. It's the exact same thing in comprehension. You say he supports rape and beheading people and throwing stones. I mean, nobody's throwing rocks. This is the carnal mind, because to cast a stone means to praise the Lord. So when David casted a stone to the Philistine, the wandering strangers coming against them, he recompassed his forehead and then beheaded his authority with the sword, which dangles from the belt of truth by the thigh, where the name that no one knows is. Because every bone was in place, no bone was out of joint. And Adam said, she is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Job was asked, can you bring life to these bones? It was prophesied that no bone will be out of place. And We should limp off. We should limp off on that topic. So here's another fun one. Bestiality, apparently. So Exodus 22:19. Whosoever lieth with a beast shall surely be put to death. Leviticus 20:15-16. And if a man lie with a beast, he shall surely be put to death, and ye shall slay the beast. Notice these are happening at the same time. And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down thereunto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast, and they shall surely be put to death, and their blood shall be upon them. Adam turned into a beast of the field in Genesis 3:17-19, as did Nebuchadnezzar, but his beasts were made to serve him, according to Daniel 4:31-33, Jeremiah 27:6. And now have I given all these lands unto the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, my servant, and the beast of the field have I given him also to serve him. And in Zechariah 8:10 shows that these beasts of the field are employable. For before these days there was no hire for man, no any hire for beast. It also goes on to explain, oh yeah, let's just read it. Neither was there any peace to him that went out and became in because of the affliction. For I set all men, every one, against his neighbor. That's a cauldron. This is the so-called cannibalism to complement your bestiality. And we'll get into that here a little bit too. Get in a little bit of that. What else did I need to cover real quick? We'll cover on more as we proceed. Here's an example right here of Numbers 25. Well, I just went over the David and Goliath thing, but here let's go ahead. We got a beheaded and belly verse going on in here. So let us just review this chapter real quick. They committed whoredom with the daughters of Moab. Slay everyone, they say. Watch my Hova video and Burning Away the Elements of the World video. This is how that is done. Thou shalt not murder. Okay? Also, darting the child against the rock. What a beautiful thing. Abraham did the exact same thing to Isaac. And if you're reading, he tells his servants, the child and I will be right back. Because to dart the baby against the rock means to keep him in the bow, in the promise, in the cliff of the rock as the foundation, so that he becomes the head and not the tail of the cedar of this behemoth. See, right here, they thrust both of them, the man in Israel, the woman, through her belly. That's the belly, the inward parts of the man. 2 Peter 1:19. And like I said, I could go on, but let's continue with the behemoth study. But yeah, a lot of doctrines out there separating the Son from the Father, and that's wild. Yeshua HaMashiach is a 100% reflection of the self-existing eternal name, which is nothing more than the Most High's inheritance, because as I just explained, he has a name that no one knows. Israel even asked, please tell me my name. And he says, why dost thou ask after my name? And we'll get into a little bit of that here too. Let us continue. Jonah 3:8. But let man and beast be covered with sackcloth and cry mightily unto God. Yea, let them turn every one from his evil way and from the violence that is in their hands. This is the whole purpose we'll get into Adam and Edom, and we'll cover this. Deuteronomy 7:22. And the Lord thy God will put out those nations before thee by little, and thou mayest not consume them at once, lest the beast of the field increase upon thee. Watch my Raphaim video, and is Jesus black? And you'll understand what's happening, why the sons of God must go into the giants to preach to the daughters that were fair to take them wives. There's your Genesis 6 conspiracy, complete blasphemy. Isaiah 43:20, the beasts of the field shall honor me, and the dragons and the owls, because I give waters into the wilderness and the rivers in the desert to give drink to my people, my chosen. This is why the Leviathan provides the meat so the black birds may deliver to those lost in the wilderness. I'm only covering the beast of the field. I could do one on the fowl of the air and the fish in the sea just as easily, but it'll simply parallel this exact same comprehension. Just like all the giants in my locust video. You guys, there's no giants. Okay, first of all, it would be as if they were breathing through a Cheerio. They would be weak, gangly. Their own immune system would be attacking them. They would be arthritic as hell. And I know you guys find 12-foot swords too, but let's think about this for a second. Put it in practical application, swing it, and watch it snap on itself just like an arrow and a crossbow. Okay, so you found a statue. Moving on. Let's get into this separation. Why Leviticus 26:6, and I will give peace into the land, and they shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid, and I will rid evil beasts out of the land. No feller, which is a tree chopper, shall come against thee, neither shall the sword go through your land. So let's find out why these beasts are covered, and yet they shall honor him and everything else. Here we get to persons. I've made this claim on other videos, the Dragon, the Leviathan video. So let's cover it a bit more in further detail. Persons is Adam, Strong's Hebrew 120. Man, mankind, human being, Adam, first man. And that is from Hebrews 1:19. Red. But it also goes through breath, palpitation, and flushing and blushing. Referring more to blood flow in the temple, the living water, the blood. And it is also noted as a Nazarite. Lamentations 4:7, her Nazarites is purer than snow and were whiter than milk, and they were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire. This is why it's 187 on the image of the beast. This is not a division between white, black, or red people at all. This is a reference to them being cleansed, coming out of the black, the Cush, so that they may be Raphaim and be healed of their stronghold that has been compassed on their forehead and principality, so that they may unlearn what they have learned. Because the Nazarite is similar to an Enoch. It is an oath, a declaration that you have made, whether it be to parents patriae or the patriarch. It's an Enoch. This is why Cain's Enoch is written in the earth and God's Enoch is written in the firmament, the book of remembrance. This is also another reason why my son will come out of Egypt and nothing good comes out of Nazareth, yet Jesus is a Nazarite because he has made the declaration. This is also reflected in the Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon. Like I said, watch my video, Is Jesus Black and Raphaim, and you'll understand what's happening here. And this whole red concept is vital because we're talking about the living water. The Nazarite, also your oath that you take, it's the difference between the flood and the living blood. It's the difference here. Okay? So let us continue with this. Oh, and also sapphire. If their polishing was of a sapphire, then how can they be red? This is the living water because the sapphire is the law. It's the Lord's throne, the self-existing eternal name. And Yahshua's spoken word, the commandments itself, the law, the tzitzi, the border of his garments, the clothing, he puts you in the blood itself. It's blue because it's sapphire. Okay? So... And what's important here is that Adam is chosen from the common sort, the beast from the field. Hebrews 72:30. Adamah came from the beast of the field. I'll explain that here in a minute. Let's get into Isaiah, being red and hairy. He's a beast of the field. Genesis 25 through 27. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment, a beast of the field. And they called his name Isaiah. Isaiah was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. He was a mighty provider and a beast of the field. And we're going to get into this. Matter of fact, the following verse was so disturbing. There's actually no language in translation to properly convey the comprehension of what this text is actually saying. So we're going to have to look at it. It's that crazy. Let's go ahead. Let's look at it real quick. This verse is wild. There's no way I could explain it. But after explaining everything about the red in reference to the blood and how Adamah comes from man, he is the first man because he came from the beast of the field. Okay, so here we go. When Esau is praying or begging Jacob to feed him, right? Now remember, he's a mighty hunter in the field and a man of the field. Okay, and he's red and he's hairy. He's a beast of the field covered in the blood. He's a scarlet beast because it says right here, for that same pottage. Now this is in parentheses because this is where you find the biblical meaning is in the context, not in the detail. Watch my video, The Cauldron, to understand what's happening here. Then we have these two words followed back to back. So this is a cauldron of the blood of man is what he's feasting on. And therefore, his name was called Edom, a scarlet beast, because Edom means red. Let's click on it. Edom means red in reference to the blood, as we just covered in context through the word. Edom means red. So he's from the land of the red, where they feast on folks. Now, what I want to show you here, let's go to Genesis 36:9. Genesis 36:9. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, because Esau is Edom in Mount Seir. How curious. Let's look at this real quick. (36:9). Let's click on this. And let's go to Seir real quick, because this is important. Let's go to Seir. Let's go to Mount Seir. And Seir means land of the beasts, hairy and shaggy. And it is from this word, which means a he-goat, a sacrificial animal, a satyr, and may refer to a demon-possessed goat like swine. That's Edom. That's Esau. And he feasts on the blood of those passed through the fire to him, because like I say, he's a little scarlet beast. He's like a little miniature Nimrod. Problem is he's liquidated his rivers and his nests, and they no longer provide. His tree has been chopped down is what's happened here. And there's nothing, and we'll get into further verses regarding this. There's nothing but beasts in his cities. There's nothing but goats, serpents, and dragon nests, and owls that fly through his courts, and satyrs that dance through his streets. Because we just reviewed Edom, the land of Esau, on the Mount Seir. And like I said, he's a cunning hunter, a man of the field. And verse 30 says he dines off the blood of men in the cauldron for the provisions that he provides. That's what it says. And Esau despised his birthright. His only birthright was to serve his brother. Am I my brother's keeper? Romans 9:13, as it is written, Jacob have I loved, but the beast of the field, the scarlet beasts, have I hated. That's what he's saying. So let's continue here. 1 Corinthians 15:39. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, and another flesh of beasts, and another of fishes, and another of birds. Like I said, I could do separate videos on that. But here you have Jude 1:7-8. That's the strange flesh that they're after, the cauldron, and Galatians 5:15. Don't devour each other. This is your cannibalism that's happening. It's a golden calf, basically. And Adam, if you haven't noticed, is the exact opposite from Edom. Because the Edom, let's cover that real quick. Let's cover that. Genesis 1:21 and 25 and 26. And God created the great dragon, the Leviathan. Then God made the beasts of the earth. What's the topic we're talking about? The behemoths, the beasts of the field. after his kind, and the cattle, which that word's actually mute, because Adam was given the breath, the beasts of the field were not. After their kind, because Adam is the living altar. He came out of the beast of the field. I'll show you this. Where we leave off here. And after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth, and after his kind, and God saw that it was good. Genesis 4:13-15. That's where Cain's afraid of everybody that's going to kill him. Where did they come from? Well, he came from the beast of the field. And where did the serpent come from? Well, let's find that out. Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. So where did the serpent come from? God created the great dragon, the Leviathan. That is where your enchanter came from. And that is where everybody that Cain is afraid of is going to kill him, is the beast of the earth. Because he himself came one. He was a beast of the field the whole time. Abel was a keeper of the flock, an altar who praised the Most High. And Adam came out of the beast of the field. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish in the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all of the earth, and over all the creepest things that creepeth on the earth. There's your Adam, who came out of the beast of the field. And he was given the breath, Genesis 2:7, and the cattle, the beast of the field, the Edom, are mute, even though they've given the image a voice. James 3:7, for every kind of beast and of bird and of serpent and of the things in the sea is tamed and has been tamed of mankind. Mankind is Strong's Greek 5449, nature of natural things, of the force, laws, order of nature, as opposed to what is monstrous, abnormal, perverse, and opposed to what has been produced by the art of man. The natural branches, namely branches by the operation of nature, birth, physical origin, a mode of feeling and acting, which by long habit has become nature. The sum of innate properties and powers by which one person differs from another, distinctive native peculiarities, natural characteristics, the natural strength, ferocity, and intractability of beasts. From Strong's Greek 54:53, to beget, to bring forth, produce, to be born, to spring up, to grow, to shoot forth, to spring up, and to germinate. That is Euphrates, to be fruitfulness. And as I mentioned, regarding the Nazarite comment, watch my video, the Leviathan, and it doesn't matter which one you go into, whether it be the patriarch or parents patriae, you have an obligation to do this. That's the whole point of Joseph, actually. Continuing, Joel 2:22, be not afraid, ye beasts of the field, for the pastures of the wilderness do spring, and the tree beareth her fruit, and the fig tree and vine, and do yieldeth her strength. Psalms 56 or 36:6. The righteousness is like a great mountain. Thy judgments are a great deep. O Lord, thou preservest man and beast. Isaiah 56:9. All ye beasts of the field come to devour, yea, all ye beasts in the forest. Revelation 13:4. And they worshipped the Leviathan, the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. You gave the image a voice, and they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Watch my Satan video. There's another good explanation right there. Revelation 17:17. For God had put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and to give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of God shall be fulfilled. That is the whole purpose of the fiery serpents biting you, so that the Son of God may be manifest, so that you may become out of the dark, because you're shapeless and formless. You're a beast of the field, and you are mute, and you're loud. And you don't have the breath of his law, of his Son, his one and only begotten deliverance in your heart. And that table needs to be flipped. Acts 28:4-6. And when the When the barbarians saw that the venomous beast hung on his hand, they said among themselves, "No doubt this man is a murderer, whom now he had escaped the sea, the flood. Yet vengeance suffereth not to live." And he shook off the beast into the fire and felt no harm. Howbeit they looked when they should have swollen and fallen dead suddenly. But after he had looked a great while, they saw no harm come to them, and they changed their minds and said that he was a god. These are more random verses to explain Edom and Mount Sierra. Because the Lord had spoiled Babylon and destroyed out of her the great voice into silence. When her waves do roar like great waters, a noise of their voice is uttered. This is the whole flood thing. The waters are the people. Ecclesiastes 3:19, for that which believeth the sons of men befalleth beasts. Every one befalleth them, as one dieth, so dieth the other. Yea, they have all one breath, so that a man hath no premise above a beast, for all is vanity. All go on to one place, all that are dust, and all turn to the dust again. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth? That is written in the earth. Psalms 49:10 through 15. For he seeth that wise men die, likewise the fool and the brutish person perish, and leave their wealth to others. The inward thought, that is the belly, is their house shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Nevertheless, man being in honor, which I got a great study coming up about surnames. It's so amazing. Nevertheless, man being in honor abideth not. He is like the beasts that perish. Their way is their folly, their prosperity above their sayings, Selah. Like sheep they are laid in a grave. Death shall feed on them, and the upright shall have dominion over them in the morning, and their beauty shall consume in the grave from their dwelling. But God will redeem my soul from the power of the grave, for he shall receive me, Selah. Exodus 11:4 through 7. And Moses said to the Lord, about midnight I will go into the midst of Egypt, and the firstborn of the land shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon his throne, or the waters, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind her mill, all the firstborns of the beast. This is darting the baby against the rock, or Egypt keeping their firstborns. And there shall be a great cry throughout the land of Egypt, such as none like it, nor shall be like it anymore. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord do put a difference between Egyptians and Israel. Those basically Edomites and Adamites. Basically. Oh, shoot. I just messed up on the scroll. Where we leave off here? Exodus 19:13, there shall not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned. Jesus stones a woman right at the beginning of John chapter 8, if you're having confusion understanding that concept. Or shot through. That was that verse we just, when they were pierced through the belly. Whether it be of beast or man, it shall not live when the trumpet soundeth long, and they shall come up to the mount. Jeremiah 31:27, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah in the seed of man and with the seed of beasts. Exodus 23:29, I will not drive them out before thee in 1 year, lest the land become desolate and the beasts of the field multiply against thee. That's your Mount Sierra. Proverbs 26:11, as a dog returned to his vomit, so a fool returned to his folly. 2 Peter 22, but it has happened unto thee according to the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and so that was washed to her wallowing in the mere. Judges 28:48, and the men of Israel turned again upon the children of Benjamin and smote them with the edge of the sword, as well as the men of every city, as the beast, and all that came to the hand. They also set on fire all the cities that they came to. What are the witnesses supposed to do? They're supposed to go in there and spit the fire, right? The sword is the sword of truth, circumcising all ungodly things. And the men of every city as well as the beasts. That's what the hand is supposed to do. If you are at the right hand of the Father, then you should be doing it, doing what he said, which is his son. So Yahweh's not destroying anything. You really need to watch my Hova video and Jesus burning away the elements of the world, because that's what just happened here. We are of the order of Melchizedek, peace and righteousness. All right? Y'all are crazy. This is why I'm talking about the beast of the field. This is why the lesser light is good. This is why God created the great dragon, so that we even have an opportunity to come out of the woods. And these waters, they rowdy, unruly, they haters of God, despisers of truth, lovers of self. You know what I mean? Everything you've heard. Everything you've heard, and God leads us besides these still waters with the lesser lights he's appointed. This has all been set up for your benefit, and if you are bitten enough by that fiery serpent, I pray the Son of God be manifest in his temple, so that enmity between ye and the woman will be clear, and you'll wed yourself to Christ, and the veil will be lifted. Everything I'm telling you, I know I have a difficult time explaining it, but my doctrine is pure and true. Even in the moments I fumble up, that's the whole purpose of counsel. But I don't tell you nothing of no cartoons, no crazy things. Oh, so let's go back into Mount Seir. Joel 1:18-20. How do the beasts groan? The herds of cattle are perplexed, because they have no pasture. Yea, the flocks of the sheep are made desolate. The beasts of the field cry also unto thee, and the rivers of waters are dried up, and the fire had devoured the pastures of the wilderness. Leviticus 26:22. I will also send wild beasts among you, which shall rob you of your children, and destroy your cattle, and make you few in numbers, and your highways shall be desolate. Ezekiel 5:17. So will I send upon you famine and evil beasts, and they shall berave thee, and pestilence and blood shall pass through thee, and I will bring the sword upon thee. I, the Lord, have spoken it. Jeremiah 15:3. And I will appoint over them 4 kinds, said the Lord: the sword to slay, the dogs to tear, and the fowls of the heaven, and the beasts of the earth to devour and destroy. Remember when his garment was parted in 4s? But it's seamless, though. It's seamless because, like I've been saying, you will submit to his laws, whether you want to or not. Deny him, that's okay. Isaiah 13:19-22. In Babylon, the glory of the kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellence shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And all that means is fiery submergence, the lake of fire, where they tried to eat the strange flesh because they beasts of the field. So shall it never be inhabited, neither shall it dwell in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch their tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of desolate creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant places. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. Isaiah 1:30. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel do not know, my people does not consider. Remember the centurion when he came in faith for his son, and the centurion himself said, basically said, I am a god. But to God, he's a beast of the field. But he says, I'm a God. When I say go, they go. And when I say do, they do. And I come to you in faith of my son. And Jesus turned around and said to his beast of the field, why are you such a black bird? And I think we can stop right there. So that's your behemoth, the beast of the field. It's the tombs that create your social compacts that biblically are known as giants, the cities. And that's exactly what the behemoth is. Uh-oh, what have I just done?